Okay. Hello, everyone. So we're going to be just doing a Unit 1 review of AP Stats because we're just starting a Unit 1. So this... Okay, let me just go to the next slide. So... Okay. Oh my god. Why did it go black? That's so stupid. That's not good. Don't let me... Okay, there we go. So I think everyone knows what 5 Hive is, so I think I'm probably just gonna skip this. Everyone here knows what 5 Hive is, yeah. So, the end of the lecture, just please fill out the feedback survey. It's good for me to know, like, because I might speak a little too fast, I might, like, you know, not... Just, yeah, fill out the feedback survey, it's really useful. Really? Unit 1's bad? Anyway. Okay, I don't want to get too sidetracked. So just disclaimer, AP is trademarked by College Board, not affiliated, does not endorse this resource, of course. Also, this review especially is not a comprehensive review of Unit 1, because this is basically based off of practice. I don't really review the content. Basically, we're just going to do a couple of MCQs and FRQs. And then we're going to, and then if you guys want me to review specific, like, pieces of Unit 1, I will do that as well, like, towards the end. And as we're doing MCQs and FRQs. Yeah. So, this session, yeah, like I said, is entirely practice-based, and we'll review content pertaining to each, like, MCQ and FRQ. So, for the MCQs, I'm gonna make a poll, and then I will reveal the answers, reveal the right answer, and just not explain. And then, afterwards, someone who chose the right answer will explain why they chose it, and then someone who chose not the right answer, if someone actually did choose something that's not correct, why they chose the wrong answer, and then finally, I'll explain the question and the right answer, and then we rinse and repeat for each MCQ. For the FRQs, everyone will, like, get independently the chance to solve a specific part, and then, like, 5 minutes per part, I think, around that. Does that sound good? Like, 5 minutes per, like, FRQ part around? Does that sound fine? Okay. No? Yeah. Yes. Okay. We also... No, not necessarily. I'm the only one who's reviewing, I'm the only one who's lecturing for stats, or no, we're not reviewing all the units. No. No, I'm not letting you speak. I'm not letting anyone as a speaker. Anyway, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. And then after I give you guys time to do each FRQ part, one or more people will guide us to take the right steps to answering the question. And then finally, I'll carry out the steps to do each part, and then we'll rinse and repeat for each FRQ. Does all of this sound good to everybody? Does anyone have any questions? What do you mean maybe? It's yes or no. Hold on. What do you mean maybe, yes, no? Okay, I think I'm moving on now. Okay. So just quick expectations. Please be respectful in the chat and try your best to stay engaged, ask questions, help others, and speak in moments of silence. Again, feel free to ask questions whenever you want to. You can ask questions whenever you want, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can when I see it. And it's great if you stay, but you don't have to, because I'm recording it right now, and I'll upload it once we're done with the review session. Okay. So the agenda we're doing, where will it be uploaded? It'll be uploaded on the lecture calendar, along with the lecture slides. So I think Lance announced on the announcements that the lecture calendar, so you can see all the lecture guides there, in addition to the recordings. No problem. So we're gonna do, actually it's 9 MCQs, I forgot to update this, sorry. It's 9 MCQs, which shouldn't take long, like, some of them are really easy. But one of them, the last one, I'm gonna spend a bit of time on, because it does require a little bit to do, but the rest are not too bad. And then we'll do like 2 FRQs. They shouldn't take long either, and hopefully we'll be done quickly. And if there's time, you can ask me to review specific concepts from Unit 1, like, I don't know, summary statistics, describing distributions, what have you. And you can have me review like specific MCQs on, like, or FRQs as needed. Does that sound good to everyone? Does that sound good? Yeah? Potentially. Okay. Okay, I'm moving on. Anyway. Whatever. Okay, so we're first starting out with MCQs. Let me make a quick poll. Real quick. Don't answer yet. No. That's not how you do it. Wait, can I not make polls? That's... Wait. Oh, no, I can make a poll. Okay, thank God. Yes, I can. Okay. No, it's fine. I can make a poll. It's not over. No! No, don't make a poll. No. Wait. Why isn't it letting me make a poll? That's so stupid. Create poll. Oh, I think it's on the Discord app because I have this popped out. Okay. Okay. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. A, B, C, D. Okay. Don't answer yet because I didn't post the MCQ. Okay. Okay, here's the first one. Pie chart up the right describes the distribution of state tree types for the 50 states in the United States. The category other includes all trees that are state tree or fewer states. Which of the following conclusions can we draw from the chart? Oh, I forgot to put E. That's annoying. My bad. Wait, let me, don't answer on the, let me remake the poll real quick. You guys can start solving the question. Let me just remake the poll. That's my bad. Oops. Okay. Okay. A, B, C, D, E. Post. Okay, posted it. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna wait for like at least half of the people to answer. This takes a little bit of time because you just need to do quick calculations. Shouldn't take too long though. We should make a no. We don't need to. Guys, answer. Guys, remember, if you have any questions, please ask. Don't remain silent. Please feel free to ask anything. Don't worry. Okay, 5 votes. Is it... You should vote. I'll explain later. Just wait. Vote on the poll. And then answer. And then I'll answer... Okay, 7. I'll wait for half of everyone to answer. Yeah, you can... I did say that. That's true. Put a question from my... Am I allowed to put a question from my first test of the year, which I still don't understand from this? Yeah, of course. You can ask anything. I'll help. I'll explain. It's not College Board. No, I know, but it's still, like, you might get asked this. It's fine. Because it's still... You might get asked about, like, doing claims about a specific, like, distribution or something like that. Something like this. But I did put a lot of questions from College Board. I put more questions than from, like, this. Don't worry. It's fine. Okay, so the correct answer is D. So someone who selected D, can you explain why you selected D as the right answer? Yes, that's correct. Can I feed you my past unit MCQs? Well, wait for that. We'll do that at the end, okay? We're gonna do these first, and then we're gonna do FRQs. So I don't want to do this right now. And then someone who chose like something other than D, can you explain why you chose something other than D? Guys, by the way, if you need to check your notes, feel free. Like if you any notes you took or like in the year, please check your notes if you need to. You don't have to worry about not checking. Yeah, for later. Yeah, you can I can put more MCQs on the slides if we solve more MCQs or FRQs. Okay, I think we'll move on. Super Dancer, are you typing something long or are you just Okay, I don't want to... Can I send you more in DMs from College Board since you're using them? Sure, go ahead. You can. I'll look at them later. Okay, second MCQ. Of the following dot plots, which represents the set of data that has the greatest standard deviation? I'm going to make a poll again for this one, so wait. This one you don't need to solve, it's kind of you just look at it and then answer. Oh wait, it's now telling me to make a poll in this window, never mind. Okay, give me a minute. B, C, D, E. Okay, so you can answer now. Let me see. Okay, 6 votes already. Okay, since there are 16 people, I'll wait for like 8 people answer. Oh. Sorry for going to the next MCQ. Just were typing for a while and I didn't want to spend too much time. Okay. Okay, I'm still waiting. Preferably everyone who's in the, please answer on the poll for the second MCQ. It's good to be engaged rather than not. Okay, I think I'll move on. So the correct answer is B. So as you can, clearly can see, like, these points are the furthest from, like, the center, which we can consider the mean. This one is evenly spread, so it'll have, like, not the most standard deviation. This one, there is some at the mean, so the standard deviation will be less. Same with D and E, so you can see here that there are some points close to the mean, but this one, there are no points at the mean, so they're the furthest on average, which is why the correct answer is B. Does that make sense to everybody? And yeah, there was no need to explain, because... Yes? Guys, if you have a question, remember you can ask, okay? Like, if you want me to explain something, no problem. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And also, like, I didn't really feel need to, like, ask some, because everyone chose B. Yeah, which is right, obviously. This stuff makes sense? Is the standard definition of standard deviation the formula? I don't really like the formula. The interpretation of standard deviation is basically how much on average the points vary from the mean. Like how far they are from the mean on average. But that's literally the definition of standard deviation. Like how much points on the distribution vary from the mean. Did that make sense? But you can also use the formula, but you won't really need to calculate it because you can also use your calculator. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so third MCQ. Box random sample 374 pennies. What is the approximate IQR? Let me make a poll again. As always. Please, preferably no one make a poll for me. I can do it myself. Thank you. Okay. MCQ 3. I also encourage everyone to remember, if you need to look at your notes, please feel free to. And also, please, I encourage everyone to answer the MCQs and especially solve the FRQs, so you engage with the lecture and whatnot, you know. Okay. You can't see. Oh, I don't know why OBS just for some reason stops working. Let me fix it. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. You can see, yeah? Yes? Okay. Okay. Votes. Please, preferably everyone votes and answer. I'll wait till like 7 people answer, or maybe a little less if no one else answers. Is there a place to submit MCQs for 5Hive? Not exactly, but if you're applying for the materials team, you will need to create a sample MCQ if you're applying for the general review session. I had to do that, so. And you should do it for like the subjects you're most interested in. Can you send the link? You can find the application like in the announcements channel or in 5hive.org. You can find them somewhere. You can find the application link, I believe. I can send it to you afterwards if you need to. Okay. So the correct answer is, let me see what everyone answered. So correct answer is C. Person who chose D, why did you choose D? Nate, please refrain from making inappropriate comments. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Range and IQR. No worries. Range is just the difference between the minimum and the maximum, right? Yeah, IQR is basically the range of the middle 50%. So it's the difference between the third quartile and first quartile. So here, you can see that for a box plot, this is an outlier because it's just a point outside of the box plot. This is the minimum. This is the maximum point. The middle is the median. And then this here, this line, is the third quartile, and here's the first quartile. When do we multiply by 1.5? That you're referring to the IQR rule. Yeah, exactly, Pastor. Thank you. Yeah, if you use it for finding outliers. So we're just gonna review this because why not? So for outliers, when you're doing for the lower bound, like for lower outliers, it's the first quartile minus 1.5 times IQR. But then for the upper bound, it's third quartile plus 1.5 times the IQR. Did that make sense? I multiplied and still got the right answer. Interesting. But did my explanation of the question and the outlier rules make sense? Yes? If you want me to re-explain, I can, no problem. We have plenty of time because, yeah. But did that make sense? When do you multiply? Yes. I am teaching the class. Anyway, when do you multiply by 1.5? Again, like I said, you use it for outliers. The 1.5 times IQR rule is when you're finding outliers, right? So when you're doing the lower bound, like I said, it's the fence rule. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the fence rule, the wall rule, whatever you want. IQR rule is a number. But yes, if you look at it that way, the IQR rule, you use it to find like the cutoff for outliers. So when you use the IQR rule, you'll get a number, and if any numbers for the lower bound cross below that number, it'll be an outlier. But for the upper bound, if any numbers exceed the number that you calculated, it isn't also an outlier. For the upper bound, it'll be the third quartile, which is this line right here, plus 1.5 times the IQR, interquartile range, which is the third quartile minus the first quartile. For the lower bound, it's the first quartile minus 1.5 times the IQR. Did that make sense? Okay, perfect. Can I move on? Does everyone have any other questions? Does this make sense? No questions. I encourage you guys to ask questions, please. Because like I can review whatever you guys want to. So I just make sure everyone understands and we can move on when everyone understands. That'd be great. Okay. Fourth MCQ. Rainwater was collected. Basically, you just have to choose the appropriate box plots. So let me just make a poll real quick. I'm sorry in advance if like the screenshots for the questions don't look that well. I'm just trying to make sure the formatting is consistent. So like the parameters for each screenshot are the same. Anyway, okay, MCQ4. Let me put the answers. So again, one of these questions where you may need to do some calculations, but it's kind of just observing and seeing. The last question we might spend a bit of time on because it's a little bit important, and it does take a bit. And for that one, I'll probably turn on my webcam. Like I have a whole setup where I'm just gonna like write on my notebook, and you guys will be able to see, hopefully. So yeah, preferably. Okay, guys, you can answer, and we'll move on accordingly. Okay. If anything is difficult about it, just ask. Okay, I'm here to help. At the end of the day, I'm not here to yeah. Or, oh, no. No, we're not doing this game. We're not. Okay. Can the majority of the people vote? Isn't the strat on the AP exam just to enter all this data and make the box plots? Sometimes you might need to, like, on the AP exam, you might not always need to make or graph something, but yeah, you will sometimes need to make your own box plot. So you just, if you're given summary statistics, you just make the box plot accordingly, or you use your calculator to get the summary statistics. So I can just show you real quick how to do that, like in a bit later on. But yeah. Can everyone answer the MCQ, please? Only 2 people have answered. Guys, can you answer on the poll, preferably? Because only 2 people have like, if there's a problem with the poll or something or anything like that, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just move on. And, yeah. Three votes. Okay. Do you guys want me to move on, or should I wait a little bit longer? Please let me know. Because I don't want to just move on when not everyone has gotten the opportunity to answer the question. Okay, I think someone's typing. Depending on the question, what do you mean? Or what do you mean wastes time? Okay, let me move on. So the correct answer is E. Now, for the people who chose C, can you please explain why you chose C? Yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the right answer is E. Because the median is 4.5. Because if you calculate using the stem plots, I think here, you don't really need to put summary statistics. It's kind of, you basically tell off for this one. Chose C because the data looks spread out, but also centered. For this kind of question, I would recommend just, like, using the data you're given to calculate the summary statistics. So you get the median based off of how many data points there are. So there are 30. So basically you just get the 15th and 16th data point and use that to calculate your mean. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 4.4, 4.6, if you add those up, that's 9. 9 divided by 2, that's 4.5. And so therefore 4.5 is the yes, 4.5 is the median. So that's the median. If you look here, none of the other ones have 4.5 as their median, so you can automatically eliminate all of them. And also notice here how their minimums are kind of like off. D is very off. It's not because the minimum is 2.6. So yeah, it only aligns with the E graph. Yeah, password correct. Did that explanation make sense? Did that? Okay. Does anyone have any other questions for this MCQ in particular? Okay. It doesn't seem like anyone else has questions, so I will move on. Remember, you can use your notes, and I encourage you to do that, because if you forget, because again, you reviewed a lot of material, so, and this is Unit 1, so if you need to review your notes, please do that. Okay, so MCQ 5, I'm gonna not give much time for this one. This should be very quick, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make the poll real quick, give me a minute. Please let me know if it stops, OBS stops working for whatever reason. Sometimes it just does that. And I'm really sorry in advance. Okay. A, B, C, D, E. Someone asked a question. Okay, let me post it. No, it's a valid question. I think chi-square is basically like, it's basically the normal distribution, except it's basically only positive values. And it's very much like skewed to the right because it's positive, but the more degrees of freedom you add, but the higher your degrees of freedom, the more centered it'll be. So that's basically a chi-square distribution. You use that a lot in Unit 8. And I'm not reviewing Unit 8 because it's weighted very low on the CED, so it doesn't really need like a whole... that made sense? So yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, everyone got it right. Awesome. Left skewed. I think everyone... Oh my god, it stopped streaming. Good thing I caught that. Give me a minute. Okay. So yeah, the answer is B. Just to quickly explain the difference between skews, I think you guys should know, but let me just explain. So like, left skew, it's not necessarily that it's being pushed to the left, it's more that the left, it's kind of pushing the data to the right. So it's the left that's doing the skewing. I like to think of it that way. And then the right skew, it's the same thing, it's just the right side of the distribution pushes the distribution to the left. So it's kind of opposite, if that makes sense. And it's definitely not normal because normal is almost symmetric for the most part. Left skewed, yeah, just has a left tail, perfect. That you can think of it as that way. It's not chi-square because it's not, and then uniform, it's not really uniform because the data set varies. If it was uniform, everything would have like the same frequency. Does that make sense? Can I move on? Okay. Yes. Thumbs up. I'll take that as a yes. Everyone, again, please answer on the MCQ polls. It's good to engage with the lecture and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So MCQ 6. This is just basically an interpretation question. And we did talk about standard deviation before, so this should not be too difficult. But again, I'll explain the interpretation for standard deviation, of course. Poll, sorry. Because I have like the chat popped up on another window, so I have to do a whole other window just to do this. So I'm sorry about that. Guys, just a general question. Are my explanations like making sense? Am I speaking too fast or something like that? Please let me know. That's a good point. I mean, it's still fun, you know. It's good learning. You learn something new. You never know. Honestly, I kind of understand why not many people are here. Unit 1's not that hard of a unit. I bet more people are going to be here for Unit 3. At least I hope they will. Okay, so I'll wait for everyone to answer. But guys, just again to ask, are my explanations like making sense? Like, am I like, going over things too fast? Am I speaking too fast? Just yes. Okay, just making sure. When's the next lecture? Explanation makes sense. Next lecture's for Unit 3. It's tomorrow. Hopefully, if nothing bad happens to me by then. Okay, 6 people answered. I think 7 people. I think. Okay, thank you. I will send AP Classroom questions for all units. I'm not using AP Classroom questions because not everyone here has AP Classroom access. So I'm just using public resources such as the public exam and just, general other resources. Okay, let me just check what everyone answered. Did everyone answer the same thing? Okay. Okay, everyone's on the same page. It's D, yes. A, all infants born are weigh between 117 138. This is an incorrect understanding because you're thinking now of the standard deviation as the margin of error, and that's from Unit 6, so you're jumping a whole other unit. B, about half of the infants, this is median, basically. Difference between mean weight and median weight, incorrect interpretation of standard deviation. E, mean weight of infants born in subsequence is more likely to be within 10.2 of mean weight. That doesn't make sense. The most logical one is this, because distance between weight of each infant on average is 10.2 ounces. So, what would you recommend for stats questions? For MCQs, if you're not self-studying, ask your teacher to assign MCQs on AP Classroom. Do practice MCQs. Do the 2012 practice MCQ. It's a very good resource. For FRQs, past papers are your best friend. They have everything, like from every single like significance test question, Unit 1 questions. So FRQs are really good, and I have some additional resources linked at the end of the slides when we get there, so just bear with me. We're taking a little longer, but I think that's good because, you know, I'm explaining everything as I go, so that's really good. Anyway, let's not dilly-dally for a little too much longer. Okay, again, this is another question that you kind of look at it and kind of just answer, but it might need a little bit of thinking. Okay, so just let me make the poll again. Upload a file, not file. My bad. And it stopped streaming. It's okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. There we go. It's back. See, when it disappears, we always get it back, guys. So, I love how there were like 20 people here and then everyone just disappeared. I find that really funny. A little sad as well, but we keep... Anyone taking AP World? No. I have not, and I don't plan to. I was gonna take APUSH, but not enough people took it at my school, and they were like, "Sorry, we're not offering it anymore," and I got really annoyed. But anyway, that's not relevant. But okay, here. I hope you guys had enough time to look at the question and answer. So APUSH is better than AP World. Yes, I think for college credit and stuff like that. For the Q&A at the end, you guys should primarily ask questions about the units. But if you guys have other questions for me, you can ask. Of course, feel free to. I think the active people here are answering the questions, but then there are some people who are AFK maybe, or just not answering questions at all. Yeah. 5 votes. I'll wait a little longer. Me when I just have no idea. Wait, did you not answer? Wait, let me see the results. You don't know? Oh, don't worry, I'll explain. Me thinking B or C? I'll explain, don't worry. It's not that hard, okay? So I think, okay, let me move on. So the correct answer is B. Why, and why is it B? Well, because, so there are 175 patients, right? So when you're looking for the mean on a histogram, right? You want to look for the middle value. So since it's an odd number, you can easily find it. So just 175, 82, 82. So the middle value will be 83, right? Yeah, 83. So you just look for that here. So this goes up to 80. That's not right. And then this will include the number 83. So this will include the frequency, the number 83. And when it comes to the median, since it's between 5 and 10, you just add them up and divide by 2, and that's how you find the median here. So, yeah. Did that make sense? Didn't see number of patients? Okay, it might be a little unclear, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I think that made sense to everybody. Most people are on the same page, and the person who, Vicious Viper, you asked the question, now it makes sense to you. I think it between 5 and 10. Yeah, first block was 80. So 80. Yeah, exactly. Correct. Awesome. That's perfect. That's literally what I expect. And then for these kinds of questions, it's a histogram. The median will just be whatever's in the middle. So it'll just be 7.25. It could be 5. It could be 6. It could be that. But usually when they give you these, you just do the middle number in between the range. And it's the same thing. Yeah, that's what you usually do for these kinds of questions. So 2 MCQs left, and then we'll move on to FRQs. So the last MCQ is a little interesting. I really like it, and I'll turn on my webcam. So anyway, MCQ 8. This is another interpretation kind of question. And yeah. Okay, let me make the poll. Again, please check your notes if you need to. I encourage you guys to do that. Guys, if you forgot something, yeah. Okay. Why it stopped recording. That's really stupid. Okay, I started recording again because for some reason it stopped recording earlier. That's really annoying. But anyway, we're on MCQ 9. And I'm gonna make the poll for this one. Yeah, hold on. I don't know why it just stopped recording. I think I accidentally made it stop recording. That's completely my bad. Yeah, I don't know why that... let's make sure that doesn't happen next time. Preferably. But it's fine. I don't know if it missed too much. I hope it didn't. Okay, please answer if you solved it. Wait, let me see what I did on my calculator. Yeah, okay, I answered it. I know the answer. Perfect. See what you guys are answering. Okay. I love... Okay, preferably don't spoil how you solve it in the chat. Please don't do that next time. But yeah, it is a Z-score request. Well, actually, no, you're not spoiling out because it does say Z-score. Sorry. So it does say Z-score. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry. I don't know why that was complete yappage. Sorry. I encourage everyone to solve the question. There's only 2 people who voted. If you guys want me to move on to the explanation, that's completely fine. Because might be a little bit of an annoying question. It takes a bit to understand. Might take a bit of time. Forgot the formula? No problem, we'll go over it right now. Yeah. Like I said, if you need to check your notes, go ahead. If that might help, but if it won't, no problem. It's totally fine. Yeah, there is a formula. It's a Z-score formula. That took way too long for you to solve. It's fine. I mean, to be fair, this is Unit 1. This is a while back. You might have forgotten normal distribution calculations. So don't worry about it. No worries. No worries at all. Do you guys need more time? Or should I just move on? For the only active people here, do you guys want me to wait for the people to answer? Just move on. Don't need more time. I don't care. I think... Z-scores are so cool, man. I agree. I think I'm just gonna move on. I don't want to wait too long. I don't know why I'm waiting this much. B. The answer is B. And we're gonna go over it right now real quick. Why did this stop working? Why is it not working? There we go. Video. Can you guys see my webcam? Yes? These scores are fine? Okay, so for this question, you need the following formula. You need the Z-score formula. So the Z-score formula is Z equals your data point. So whatever data point you're using for the distribution. And this is for standardizing a distribution. So it's the data point minus the mean of the distribution over the standard deviation. So always think of just the mean as like in the numerator and then the standard deviation is in the denominator. Okay? So when we look at the question, it gives us the details of the distribution. So we can see that the mean of, okay, my webcam is still working. The mean of the male grizzly bears is 500 pounds, standard deviation 50. And then the weight of a female adult grizzly bear, normally distributed, again, 300 pounds, standard deviation. So what would be the weight of a female grizzly bear with the same standardized Z-score as a male with a weight of 530 pounds? So first, we have to solve for the Z-score of a male with 530 pounds. Because a bear, 530 pounds, 40 over 50 standard deviation, which would correspond with standard deviation. Nice. You solved it another way, but I'm going to solve it this way. You guys can see this, right? This is clear? Yes? Just making sure. Yes, you can see? Perfect. Awesome. So, we need to do the Z-score for the male first. Okay? And then when we calculate our Z-score, we'll plug that into the formula for the female distribution and then just solve for the data point because that is unknown. Right? So we have the Z-male. So we have the data point, that's 530, minus the mean, which is 500, over standard deviation, which is 50. So now, this just totals out to, simple question, what is 30 over 50? Just someone answer for me. 0.6? Cool. 0.6. Awesome. Perfect. That's the Z-score. Can anyone tell me what the interpretation of a z-score is? How do you interpret a z-score? This is important for later when we do the FRQs. But I'm just asking to, get interactive with you guys and stuff. Yeah, I know. Oh my god. There's also a hand reveal. Okay. Does anyone know what the interpretation of a z-score is? Wait, what? Why do you not have any clue what's going on? I'm scaring you? Why am I scaring you? Standard Yes. Good job, Emerald. Well done. Amazing. Well done. My hand? Yes, my hand is very chapped. I'm sorry. I have, yeah, a condition. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, yes, calculated reveal as well. So, yes, the interpretation of this is for a male grizzly bear that weighs 530 pounds, there's 0.6 standard deviations above the mean. Okay? So, that's the z-score of a male. Right? So then, we use this z-score for the female. So we don't know the data points. We're trying to figure that out. So we're trying to figure out the weight. We know the mean of the female grizzly bear distribution is 300 pounds. Over the standard deviation. Oh, I messed that up. I'm sorry. The standard deviation of the female is 40. Right? So then what you do here is just multiply 40 by 0.6 and add 300. Let me just do that. Let me angle it right. Okay, the lighting is pretty bad. Okay, 0.6 times... Okay, I already did it here. 0.6 times 40. Hope you guys can see that. And then you just add 300 to 24. And that's just 324. So the answer is B. So the answer is just B. There you go. Did that make sense? Perfect, Emerald. Well done. You know your stuff. I'm proud of you. Good job. Did that make sense to everyone? Yes? Awesome. Great. So now, we're done with the MCQs. MCQs usually... let me just go back real quick. Just explain a few strats you can do. Oh, what? Why, I don't know why that do that. Okay. It's still recording. Good. Okay. So, just go back real quick review. These MCQs, you just eliminate your options until you get to the right one that makes the most sense. So you just solve all of them, and then you get the right answer. This one, this is just intuition. You just, whichever one is furthest from, like, the center, which is the mean, that's your answer. For this one, it's just Q3 minus Q1, that's IQR. This one, you just calculate the median, and then you use that to determine which box plot. So you just, yeah, you just see which one is the best fit. This one, skew is easy, just... It has a left tail, like if the short end is on the left, that's left skewed. If the short end's on the right, that's right skewed. And then 6, interpretation of standard deviation is the average distance of the data points from the mean on average. This is just, yeah, you count, and then you get to like the middle part, and then you realize that the middle part is here, which is 83, I believe. And then it'll just be the middle point between the range and the histogram, which is 7.25. This one, median is just half of the distribution is below the median, and then half of it is above. And then here, we already solved it. You just use the z-score formula. So now, we're going to do the FRQs. Let me just turn off my webcam. There is no need to have it on right now. We'll have it on later. Okay? You guys can see my hands later. Okay. Okay, guys. So for this one, I encourage everyone to like pull out some kind of paper or notebook for you guys to use, so you guys can actually do these by hand and actually solve them, because that's the best way. Or if you can just do it in your head if you want to, that's completely up to you. But like, there is a question where you're gonna have to draw something, so I recommend you use a notebook. So let's do this. So okay, here, FRQ1. So you're given the sizes of, in square feet, 20 rooms in a student residence hall at a university, and summarized in the below histogram. So you have this. And now, the first thing you're asked is, write a few sentences describing the distribution room size in the residence hall. So now you have to describe the distribution. Please don't put your answers in the chat. Emerald, delete your message. Please don't put your answers in the chat until I tell you to. Okay, Pack, please be friendly. Don't, be mean. Just tell them next time, don't do that. Like I said, be respectful in the chat. Please don't, it's not that deep. Okay, anyway, I'll give you guys, 5 minutes to solve the question. Let me just put a timer for 5 minutes on my phone. Nate, don't put anything. Guys, what's the acronym? We were gonna go over it later. Okay, it's fine. Well, guys, next time, ask questions. Try to solve it on your own. Check your notes. If you can't, wait until I explain it. What if I like wearing socks? Good for you, man. This is great. So the z-score is the number of average distances of value is, no, it's the amount of standard deviations a mean value is away from the mean. Okay? So it's the amount of standard deviations. So if the mean is like 400 and the standard deviation is 10 and the z-score is 2, then the statistic is 420 and that's 2 standard deviations above the mean. Yes? What are standard deviations? Standard deviation, like I said, it's the average distance of a specific point on the distribution away from the mean. Yes, average distance from the mean. Thank you, Emerald. You're being very helpful. Good job. Okay, I didn't set the timer, but I'll wait like 3 minutes for you guys to solve it. But I think everyone, gets the general idea on how you solve this. Again, guys, use your notes if you need to. So if SD is 20, that means most values are 20 away from the mean. Yes, perfect. Excellent. Good job. That is exactly right. Here I replace standard deviation with average distance from the mean. Okay. Let me turn on my webcam because I'm going to use it in a bit. Put my phone away. I don't know why when I turn on my webcam, it just turns off the lecture slides. That is completely unintended. I'm sorry. There we go. I'm just gonna... Whoops. Whoa. Let me actually turn it off for now. Should I, move on to solving the question? Or do you guys want more time? Two more minutes. Okay. You can start. I'll wait 2 more minutes. Yeah, I'll wait. I'm ready whenever. 2 minutes is fine. Okay. 2 minutes is fine. Hold on. I need to see how long the recording was for the last, file. Because I don't want to go over 2 hours. Because that'd not be the best. Because I'm not meant to go over 2 hours. Okay. The answer is E. Okay, there's my recording. Don't open. No. Okay, it's... How long is this recording? Let's see. Okay. Okay, so 35 minutes. Okay, we're doing good on time. No. It's just, I'm not meant to go over according to the guidelines. It's fine. It's okay. I don't think we'll go over 2 hours. But we're not. Admins will punish him. Guys... Oh my god. Guys, I'm not gonna, get smited by someone. It's not that deep. It's just... He disappears into the 4th dimension. Oh my god. Alright, I thought I said mean is less than median. Oops. Actually, mean being less than median depends on the distribution, right? So, if it's left skewed, if you guys remember, I'm pretty sure mean is greater than median if it's left skewed. If it's right skewed, median is greater than mean, right? And then if it's symmetric, they're both equal. So is the mode, but you never use mode in AP Stats. If you see a question about mode, that'll be really rare. You'll often never see a question about mode. Okay, I think we've spent enough time on the FRQ, so I'm just gonna start. So I'm not gonna write the full explanation because to describe this, you need to write a few sentences, but... Can someone tell me, someone put in the chat already, but can someone tell me what acronym you use to, solve these kinds of questions? There are multiple, but there's one I really like. SOX. CUS. It varies, but the one I like most is, you might have not heard of it, but it's, yeah, because for mathematic, they use SOX, but I use SOX squared S. Now, the 2 C's, one is for context. So, one of the C's is for context. Can anyone tell me what the other ones stand for? Sucks. I would rather not. Center. So, this is center, yes. What about this S? What does this S stand for? Shape. What does the other S stand for? Spread. Good job. Okay, what about O? Outliers. Yes. So now we have shape, outliers, center, and context and spread. Okay? So the way I personally like to do it, this is just a personal preference. I like to start with the context. So I just like to say this distribution describes 20 rooms in square feet. Like the distribution is 20 rooms in square feet of a student's residence hall, right? Once we do the context, once we do that, we then go to the shape. So the shape, as we can see here, you can say it's bimodal. You can check the solutions, by the way. The lecture guides are posted on the lecture calendar. You can check the solution if you want. It's for the 2019 exam. I believe it's the first FRQ. So it can either be bimodal, or you can say it's symmetric and there are two clusters. Either one works. You can say it's bimodal, or you can say it's symmetric with two clusters. Both work, I believe. And then when it comes to describing the outliers, I like to describe them at the end, but there are no outliers in this distribution because there is not really a gap. If there was a gap, you would see the outliers are like whatever's after the gap. That's what I would say outliers are. Then for the center, you can just say that the center is in between, I think, 200 to 250 around. That's, I think, where the center is. Because it's symmetric, the center will be, well, at the center of the graph. Okay? And then spread, well, you can just, since this is symmetric, you can just use standard deviation for the spread. You can even use range. You can say the range is 250 because this is symmetric. So when it comes to describing center and shape, center you can either use mean or median, but you don't use mean if there are outliers or if there's any skew in the distribution. But here you can use mean because there is no skews in the distribution. But then for spread, you can either use standard deviation, range, or IQR. IQR you use when there is some skew in the distribution. Yeah, you say there are no apparent outliers. About being uncertain. Well, yeah, when it comes to describing distribution, that kind of thing, you have to use very like unsure language. So you have to say it's approximately left skewed or it's roughly skewed. You can't say it is, because if you say that is not like, yeah, wouldn't range be 150 to 250? Since you don't know what the values are, it's just the bar. Not exactly, because again, range is from minimum to maximum. It's the difference between the maximum and the minimum, right? So that you use range. So mean for roughly normal and median for IQR for skewed. You could use median IQR for roughly normal or symmetric, but you should not use mean because, why? Because mean and standard deviation and range, all those are non-resistant values. And what that means is they get shifted and they get affected by outliers and by skew and that kind of nature, right? But then IQR and median, those are resistant measures. They don't get affected by skew or outliers. Did that make sense? And yeah, standard deviation, you can just say, like, you can calculate it if you want to. Or you can just, like, say, yeah, the range. That's the easiest. So yeah, did that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? Nah? Password has a question. What's spread? Spread is basically like, just, it's in the word. It's how like spread out the distribution is. And the metrics you use for that are either standard deviation, which we've touched on a lot before, or you can use range, which is basically like the difference between the maximum and minimum, or you can use IQR, which is the range of the middle 50%, or it's just IQR equals the third quartile minus Q1. Write an example sentence on how to describe the distribution. Do you want me to do that? You guys want me to do it? Yeah. Okay, I'll do it really quickly. So I would just say like, this distribution describes the sizes in square feet, right, of the 20 rooms. Does it have to be? Yes, it has to. I mean, you're gonna use multiple sentences because it's one sentence per like metric, right? Does that make sense? Because you're gonna use multiple sentences anyway, so they're just giving you a hint on what you're gonna do. So you're gonna regardless use multiple sentences. It's not like you don't really have an option. Like, yeah, this describes the sizes of the 20 rooms. Of the 20 rooms, the center is between Did I just... It doesn't matter. They don't care about grammar. Although stats is basically just an English class, but that's besides the point. Center is between 200 to 250 square feet. Right? I apologize for my terrible, horrendous, atrocious handwriting. I'm doing my best. Center. And then for spread, you could just say the range. Where is the formula? Or I just saw that. I don't know what. On this monitor, it's very old. My bad. Okay. The range is 250 square feet. Again, please put units. If you don't put units, you will not get full credit. You have to put the units because you have to explain it in context. That's the whole point. Why do we have this? We don't have this without reason. How many monitors does bro have? I can send you a picture of like my lecture setup later, but not now. We need to focus. So range is 250. So we covered shape. No, we didn't cover shape. The distribution. No. I just changed my setup to accommodate for this. Distribution is bimodal. There are no outliers. So that's how you would describe it. This should get you all the points. This should get you an E, I hope. So we described the shape, bimodal. We said there are no outliers. We said that the center is between 200 to 250, and then we said the range is 250. Same with center. Would it be median be with... Oh, I forgot to say it. Median, not center. The median, because center is just a word. So spread equals range in describe. No, it can also mean standard deviation or IQR. Median is between that. Yes. Does that make sense? Make sense? Yeah? Did you answer range? Yes. I described everything about the distribution. By the way, just to cover something, when you're given two distributions and you're asked to compare them, you do this. You will lose points if you say range instead of SD. I'm not sure, but you might. No, actually, you can use standard deviation, but it's kind of hard to calculate standard deviation here. They don't really give you a table or anything. So I wouldn't recommend using standard deviation. You can range is 250, even though you aren't certain it's 100 to 300. You can say that's the range. It's because you can just say that, yeah, 100 to 350. Because the minimum you just assume is 100. The maximum you assume is 350. Yeah. Okay, that's what I believe. If someone can check the scoring guidelines, if like I made a mistake there, that'd be great. Because I think you can do that. You can just say the range is 250. But I'm not sure if you can also say that you can say it's 125 to 325. I guess you just say it's from the minimum to maximum. Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. This shouldn't take too much. I'm gonna say 5 minutes for B and C, because C you can write just the sentence and you can get E. You can just write a sentence for that. Yeah, I'm just giving you a hint. So it's not that complicated. So it's... Oh, I don't know why it turned off. I turned off my webcam, but... Hold on. I'm gonna show it again. Don't worry. There we go. Nice. Okay. So... LOBS, I know. Terrible. I don't like... OBS sometimes it's just annoying. Yeah, these are easy. The box plot. If someone can take a picture of their notebook and post it into the lecture channel, that would be great. I can't. Actually, why don't you, when you guys solve the question, just explain to me, like, how you would draw the box plot. Just how. Like, where would you put the things? So, yeah. I'm not going to say right now what you should put on the box plot, but we have seen box plots in previous questions, so you should know how to do it. I will do it on Microsoft Paint. That works. No problem. So you have these summary statistics, and you have to use them to describe mine. Yeah, describe yours, but preferably draw it, because on the actual AP exam you're going to have to draw it, so it's good to get actual experience with drawing it and whatnot. Right? I'll give, like, I guess 3 more minutes. That should be good until, like, yeah. I did this exact FRQ in class. Yeah, when you do these past paper questions in class, yeah. So, but I never know what you guys do in class. I just pulled out the ones that I liked and just were good for review. So the second FRQ I would say is kind of harder, and we're gonna need to like do a bit of review on that. Just I might need to explain a little bit. FRQ 6 sucks. Investigative task, yeah. It's a little annoying because you're given something new and you have to use it. I did an investigative task a few days ago. It went fine, I think. I don't think it was like too bad. Wait, let me just see like how much time we've done. I think we've gotten 2 out of 4. That's not bad for investigative tasks. So long as you did go on the other FRQs, you should be fine. Wait, what is this? I haven't covered that yet. What haven't you covered? FRQ 6 or just this in general? The investigative task? Oh, okay. Okay, don't worry. Because I thought you were talking about this lecture. Okay. Do you guys think we can move on? Or do you guys need more time? And remember, again, check your notes. Like, because you're doing this on your notebook, so you can check your previous notes if you need help drawing it. Like 3 minutes? Sure. 10, that works. By the way, it's 10:32 p.m. for me here. Just saying. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, also just do part C. Part C is kind of, easy to do. Dang, bro, where are you? I live in Jordan. I live in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm not in the U.S. I am technically American, but I'm mainly Arab. I'm from Jordan. Crazy reveal, I know. I know. I don't really know how much time. I think we're at an hour, I believe, for the lecture. Yeah, we're at an hour. So I think we'll just do this quickly, and then we'll take like 30 minutes on the second FRQ, and then we'll finish. And then we'll just finish with a quick, what is it called? Q&A, and then we'll be done. That's it. Okay. So we have like 2 minutes, I guess, left. Quick overview. What do you mean? Not sure what you're trying to say. Never mind. Okay. Sorry if I didn't. Okay. QA, fine. Yeah. I'll tell you guys how much time you have with the Q&A. I don't think we'll have as much time because we kind of spent up quite a bit of time explaining some MCQs and the FRQs. So, but that's good. You know, it's all good learning. It's all good learning. You know, there's no such thing as bad learning. It's all, you know, it's all good. It's all good stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna say I have like 45 minutes left. I'm just gonna set a timer to pace myself because I'm kind of maybe going over what I'm supposed to. Okay. Alright. No, like, I meant not, I don't want to go over 2 hours for the lecture. Okay, I think we'll go over the FRQ now. I think it's been a while. So, for the box plot, let me turn on my webcam. I'm not going to exactly draw it because I don't want to waste too much time on that. Okay, let me just flip the page here. You guys can see this, right? For B, do you do 1.5 times IQR? There's... yes, you do. You use that rule to determine the IQR. Absolutely. You need to use the IQR rule to determine if you are outliers. Yeah, you can see? Cool. So for minimum outliers, you use this formula, Q1 minus. For the minimum outliers, think of it as like the lower bound of the quartiles. So you use this for the minimum, and then you use subtract so you can go lower, not higher. From the last question, spread. Responses between 50 and 150. Lower endpoint must not be below 150. Spread. IQR is between 50 and 150. At specific measure, range is approximately 250. Must verify specific numeric value within the, for example, 150 to 250 for IQR. I see. So you need to give it a range. We need to, yeah, you need to say approximate. You always say like approximate or roughly. That's last FRQ. Anyway, I want to focus on this one if that's fine. So for this one, for the outlier rule, like we said earlier in the lecture, you use Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR, and you're given the quartiles, so the IQR will just be Q3 minus Q1, so in this case 292 minus 174, so our our IQR will be 118. So you just do quartile 1, so that's 174 minus 1.5 times 118. Okay, so Hope you guys can see my calculator. I hate the lighting is so garbage. I'm so sorry. 1.5 times 118. If you can see that, that's 177. Wow, that's pretty big. 174 minus 177. So that since that's -3, there are no lower outliers because as we can see here in the graph.
Unmuted.
Wait, hold on. I accidentally deafened. Sorry. So yeah, as you can see, oh, that's the second FRQ. Oops. So you see here, there are no points that are below -3. So there are no lower outliers. For hot upper outliers, it'll just be like 100. Since we determined the IQR is 177, it'll just be Q3 plus 177. So since Q3 is 292 plus 177, that'll be like 400 something. There is nothing above 350. So yeah, there are no outliers. Yeah, Emerald, perfect. There are no outliers. But then for the distribution itself, what you would do for a box plot is you would just draw it like this. Here would be the minimum. So here would be like 134. And then here in your box, Q1 would be 174. You would do this, of course, making sure it's like appropriate to the scale, but I'm just showing you here how like the box plot would look like roughly. The median would be like, yeah, 253.5. And then the upper quartile, 292. And then here, the maximum is 315. Right? So this is how your box plot should look like. This is how generally the box plot. If you have any outliers, you would put them here and say their value. So the outliers would look like this. This is how it would look like. These are outliers. Okay. Yeah, that's how it should look like, roughly. Wait. Like that, around that, yeah. So that's the box plot. Does the box plot make sense to everyone? Yep. Okay. Now let's go over C. C is really fast. When you have a box plot, you can't tell the shape, obviously. So therefore, you cannot tell that the distribution is bimodal, or it is like roughly symmetric, or it is symmetric with two clusters. So you cannot say that the shape is like bimodal or anything. That's C. You can literally just say one sentence and you get the full point. I checked the guidelines, scoring guidelines. The sample response they gave is just one thing, one sentence. So that's, I think, FRQ1. Does anyone have any other questions? Just iffy on C, part C. Like I said, so part C, when you look at a box plot, like I said, it says what characteristic of the shape of the distribution is apparent from the histogram, but not box plot. Box plot, you cannot tell the fact that the distribution is bimodal. So we know from the histogram the distribution is bimodal, or you can say it is roughly symmetric, and there are like two clusters with something in between. So there are two clusters. So you can see here, like there are like two clusters, like here. Or you can say it's bimodal. So there are two peaks around. You can say it's roughly bimodal. So you cannot tell that from the box plot because it's a box. So you can't like see if it's like what the shape is. Did that make sense? I was going for more like freak. What do you mean? Like you couldn't tell the numbers. You can tell the numbers. It's just you can't. What they say, what characteristic of the shape is not apparent. Like on the box plot, you can't tell it's bimodal. So you just say like what characteristic of the shape is the histogram and why you can't, what you cannot see that on the box plot. Like you don't know how many people said X. Well, you kind of do because it is like a distribution. It shows like the numbers and stuff like that. So you can see the numbers, but you can't like see the shape. I think I'm gonna move on because like I'm running out of time. Like I don't want to spend too much time on this, and there's like, okay. So I'm gonna give like 5 minutes for this around, and then we'll solve it together quickly, and hopefully we'll do the other ones really quickly. So this one is gonna take a little bit of time, but then part B will like go through it really fast, and then part C we'll do really fast as well. So then we can get to the Q&A. Can you remove the hand cam? Yes. Sorry about that. I forgot to remove it. We don't need it now. We'll need it later, maybe. Potentially. Okay. So in like 4 minutes, I'll, yeah. Okay. I did not anticipate it take this much time, to be honest. Because I took my time with explaining stuff, but like I said, you know, it's better than just not understanding anything. Yes? Okay. Like I said, yeah. Do this question in your notebook. Refer to your notes if needed. Super Denser, I haven't heard from you in a while. You still there? Yeah? Okay. Are you solving the question? Yeah, I've seen these. Yep. Yeah. Perfect. We did this 4 or 5 times. Perfect. So it's easier then. So yeah, you guys usually do like past FRQs a lot, but to be honest, like it's harder to like make the FRQs, so it's easier just to pull from past papers. Next time I might like, yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll give 2 minutes, and then I'll just go over this real quick, as fast as I can. So in my opinion, this part of the question is the hardest for me. B and C are a little easier. So if you don't get this one instantly, it's totally fine. It's okay. Does it have something to do with some rule? Not really. This is kind of just intuition based on, I'll give you a hint. This is based on, yeah. You have to, determine a characteristic for the, actually, I think let's just go over this together. Do you guys just want to go over it now? Should I just start going over it, like, what I personally, like, how I would solve those? No, the minimum is close to the mean, 1 standard away, so the distribution is likely skewed to the right. I'm not sure if this would score full points, because that's not the explanation they exactly gave. I'll tell you guys, like, the best way to solve it, in my opinion. So this is the way it's kind of shown on the scoring guidelines, but this is my own way, because they use the formula for z-score, but I prefer using the normal CDF function on my calculator. I'll show you what that means. So when we look at this distribution, so speed is measured by the time required to run 40 yards. So this is the distribution. The distribution of the time to run 40 yards. We're given the mean, 4.6 seconds. We're given the standard deviation, and we're given the minimum. Because we're given the minimum, this means intuitively that nothing is below the minimum. So this is the lowest point on the distribution. Now, because this is the minimum point, let's just see how this would apply to our normal distribution. So the way we see if this is a normal distribution is let's just use normal CDF. So if you go to your TI-84, click second distor, go to normal CDF. If you give the distribution a mean of 4.60 and a standard deviation of 0.15, let's just set the upper to 4.40 and then the lower to a very big negative number, okay? So this way, we're going to see the area below the point of 4.40 seconds. If this is like, if this is a normal distribution, then what we would get is an area of 0. However, if we don't get an area of 0, that means the distribution we're looking at is not normal because it doesn't match with what we got on our calculator. Does that make sense? So if we go to paste, we get an area of 0.09, which means that clearly there are still on the normal distribution, if we give it a mean of 4.6 seconds and a mean of a standard deviation of 0.15 seconds, that means that there is scores that are below 4.40 seconds on the normal distribution. However, because for our distribution there is nothing below 4.40 seconds because it is the minimum, since those don't match up, it is not a normal distribution. Right? Does that make sense? Hello, guys? Does that make sense? Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry if it's like a little bit... Well, what was it again? The val isn't sig, though. What do you mean? Significant? What do you mean? It doesn't matter. It's just all it matters is that it's not 0. Because on this distribution, we see that the minimum is 4.40 seconds. However, when we do normal CDF, right? When we do normal CDF and we put the mean as it is in the question 4.6 and the standard deviation 0.5, and we set our upper value to 4.40 and then we set our lower to a big negative number. If the distributions match up, which means that if we get on our calculator 0, that means that this is a normal distribution, because on the normal distribution that we calculated, there is nothing below 4.40, and on this the minimum is 4.40, so that means they match up. However, if the area is not 0, that means on the normal distribution there are points that are below 4.40, which means the minimum isn't 4.40, which means that this is not a normal distribution. Why do we put min as upper? So we can see the area, how big is the area below 4.40 seconds. Because since on this distribution, it is the minimum, on our normal distribution, if it's also an area of 0, because since this is the minimum, the area below 4.40 seconds should be 0. But on our when we use a normal distribution calculation, because we get an area that is not 0, and we get like 0.09 something something something, that means that they don't match up. So if there's a value before minimum, then it's not normal. Yes, because here the minimum is 4.40, but on the normal distribution, the minimum is not 4.40 because the area below 4.40, because their area isn't 0, that means there are values that are below 4.40, which means on a normal distribution, the minimum isn't 4.40, which means our distribution here isn't normal. I hope that made sense. Did that make sense? Guys? Yes, it does. Everything makes sense. Wait, what doesn't make sense? Password, what doesn't make sense? No, this is... No, this is the distribution. The distribution here has a mean of this and the standard deviation of that. Prove in our explanation like you just said. Yes, you need to prove that. You need to show that there is evidence that this is not a normal distribution. You need to show the relationship between mean, standard deviation, and minimum time. So when you input them into the calculator, you are, technically using the relationship. So if you use that on the normal distribution function, because the area below 4.40 on the normal distribution isn't 0, and here, because the minimum is 4.40, the area below 4.40 is, what would you write as the answer? So I would just say, when we when we use normal CDF on our calculator and we apply a normal distribution using the same mean and standard deviation, 4.46 and 0.515 respectively, when we input that, we get an area below 4.40 that is not 0 and is 0.09. Because of this, it does not match with the distribution here, because since the minimum is 4.40, according to this distribution, there is nothing below 4.40. And thus, because the distributions don't match up, this is not a normal distribution. That's what I would write. And I'm not writing it here because we're running out of time and I want to move on to doing the other questions. That's what I would write as the answer. Okay. Alright, moving on. Yeah, this is a bit difficult, I'm sorry. That's the best I could. You could look at the solutions and we can go over them together, because they explain it in a similar way, but they use z-squares instead of the calculator. So for B, I'm gonna give like maybe 3 minutes for this one. This shouldn't take too much time. Okay, let me turn on my webcam. Turn it off. Oops. Are you guys solving the part B? Don't solve part C yet. Just solve part B. Wait, hold on. Let me just check. This is the last thing. Yeah, it's the last thing. Okay. Are we supposed to say? Yeah. Please say when you're done, so I can go over it. Yeah, as soon as possible. Done? I am. Perfect. Yeah, for this one, it's pretty intuitive. Strength is measured as the amount of weight lifted, with more weight indicating more desirable greater strength. From the previous data points, the amount of weight lifted has a mean. So the distribution of weight lifted has a mean of 310 pounds. 25 pounds is the standard deviation. So it's given here. Now what we're meant to do is calculate the z-score of a person who can lift 370 pounds and interpret that. So all we do here, this is really intuitive compared to the last one. Because the last one was kind of complex and annoying, because you had to actually compare it to the normal distribution. So here, all you do is just calculate the z-score. So we're given the point, which is 370 pounds, minus the mean, 310, over the standard deviation, which is 25. When you do that, you get 60 over 20. Wait, oh, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. 60 over 25. 2.4. So this is our z-score. Now, can anyone tell me again? Basically, it just states the number of standard deviations over the mean. Correct. I was just about to ask what the interpretation is. So how would you? So it's 2.4 standard deviations over the mean. Well done. That's it. That's all you do. You calculate, and then you say the interpretation is the person who can lift 370 pounds can lift 2.4 standard deviations above the average weight lifted. That's all you say. That's it. If you say that, you get all the points. That's it. Very simple. Very intuitive. Now, this one you have to justify a little bit, part C. So I'll give 5 minutes for that, and then I'll try to explain it in 5 minutes, which leaves us like 15 minutes for the Q&A, and then we'll be done. That's it. Okay, let me turn off my webcam right now. Would you guys overall say this was like a good lecture? Like overall? Yes? Good. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Yes. Yeah, you're cool. Thank you. Thank you. Good review of unit. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope it was like, yo, we're just 10 out of 10 would do again. Yeah, please come to the next one. Because this unit is really easy. But the next one, Unit 3 that I'm doing, is actually kind of hard. And yeah, I would recommend you come to it because I'm going to go over... By the way, it's going to be more comprehensive. Like, I'm going to actually go through the topics and stuff. I'm going to do practice MCQs, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Need round for 2, 3, 3, 4. I'm planning to do one for 6. I don't know if I'll do one for 4, unfortunately. Because I'm planning to do more on also CSA reviews as opposed to only stats reviews. I'm here because it's fun. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. It is fun. Ooh. I'll join CSA ones, I guess. Alright. You know, it's the same person, so, you know, you'll get me because I'm an awesome... I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. So, CSA sucks. I guess so. Alright. Okay. Do you guys need more time, or, can we just go to solving? Because the sooner we solve, the better. So we can have a little more time for Q&A. Way better than Bio and World? I like CSA. Because I'm planning to go into CSA. I'm planning to become a CS major. So basically homelessness. Nate, are you there? You haven't been talking like a lot since the beginning of the lecture. Natey, hello. Guys, do you guys need more time or can we just go straight to solving? Yeah, we can solve. Solve. Okay. So this is just a z-score question. Again, B and C, like we said, this is a very normal distribution calculation kind of question. A, you have to do it. B, you have to do it. And then C, you'll have to do it. So let's just now go over this together real quick. So let me turn on my webcam. Let me just flip the page. I don't want to like take up too much space here. Let's just go here. Right? You guys can see everything, right? Can you guys see my webcam? Yes? We. Perfect. Cool. So they say here, strength and speed are considered of equal importance. So like, if they're both the same, yeah, they're of equal importance. So they don't really have a preference. So they're both like equal factors to choosing in the team. So based on this, which player should we choose, player A or player B, if we can only select one of the two players? So now we have to, all we have to do is now calculate the z-scores for each. So now let's just do let's just split the paper into two. Player A z-scores. So here, player A. So now let's first calculate the z-score for the seconds. So if we go back to the previous question, whoops. So if we go back here, this is the distribution for running times. So first, z for run. We just do that as we went over the z-score formula before, so minus 4.60 because that's the mean. Do we do average z-scores? Yeah, you do z-scores for everything. This is a z-scores question. So you do 4 z-scores, 2 for player A, 2 for player B, and then based on that we compare. So for player A, we said that the 4.42, and remember, lower z-scores are better because the lesser the time, the better, because they take less time to run. So it's kind of like opposite. But the more weight they lift, the better. But the less time they run, the better, because that means they're faster. So you have to interpret in context. You can't just do it blindly. Oh, you gotta go? See ya. Okay. 370 pounds. So we calculate the z-score as that. So let me just do it on the side on my calculator. I'm not going to show it on the screen because there's not really any need to. So we get a z-score. Oh, no, that's inaccurate. It's not 370. Whoops, my mistake. It's 0.15. That's the z-score. That makes sense. Because I was about to like... So the z-score here is minus 1.2. Okay? So now the z-score for weightlifting for player A... So, lift, now we do that, we have the distribution here. So, 370, remember, more weight lifted is better. So, standard deviation here. We do our calculations again. 25. 2.4. So, we have our z-scores here. So, this player lifts 2.4 standard deviations more than the average. 1.2 below standard deviation, runs standard 1.2 standard deviations below. Like, he runs in the time. Like, his time is 1.2 standard deviations below. So now let's just do player B. It's just the same thing. I'm not going to do much commentary. You know the deal. 4.57 minus 4.60 over 0.15. Do the calculations. If anything's not making sense, please let me know. Yeah. Okay. 4.60 divided by 0.15. Continue? Yeah. Okay. So now we get 0.2. Okay, so now we have to do lift, which is just 375, which is not much of a difference if you notice from player A. That's very important, going to be very important in our explanation. So we do that. So the players, we do average to see overall performance. So we do the z-scores so we can standardize their performances to see, like, yeah, you have to standardize their performances on the normal distribution so you can make a comparison. Because the distributions here are different, so if you standardize the scores and make it so that what are their scores on a standard normal curve, because that's what you do for a z-score, then you can actually make comparisons because you standardize both scores so that they're on the... Do we compare speed to speed and weight to weight? We do z-score for each player and then we compare the z-scores. So as you can see what I did here. So let me just calculate this one. 317 minus 25, 2.6. So, what we see here now is player A, the amount he lifts is 2.4 standard deviations above the mean of 310 pounds. That's the mean. Okay? What on the other end for player B, he lifts slightly more, 2.6. So his weight, he only lifts 2.6 standard deviations above the mean, which is in his case 3.310. So he lifts slightly more. He lifts 0.2 standard deviations more than player A. But on the other hand, player A, his run time is 1.2 standard deviations below the mean, which is way larger than 0.2 standard deviations below the mean. So, based on this, which player do we pick? Based on like what the comparison I just made. So, I'll just give you a hint. Notice these differences are not big, but these differences are. So, though this player lifts a little more, this player A runs much faster. Exactly. Based on this, we pick player A because though they lift slightly less weight, the difference in the run times is way greater than the difference in the lifting time. So overall, player A would be our better pick. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah? Everyone else, does that make sense? Yes. Yeah? Alright, perfect. Awesome. That's it. So now, RIP Calc review. Yeah, it's gone. That's it. Don't leave yet. Well, we're going to do Q&A. These are some extra resources. If you have access to AP Classroom, use that. Of course, use the 5Hive website. I have to do that plug because, you know, this is a 5Hive lecture. College Board has a review playlist. You can watch their videos. Advanced Kentucky is a good review my teacher gave. It's pretty good. It has videos for AP Stats and a bunch of math classes. Sponsored by 5Hive. Exactly. Okay, let me turn off my webcam. This is really weird. Face reveal one day, maybe. Anyway. Khan Academy. Khan Academy isn't good for FRQs, but it's great for MCQ practice, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And then for FRQs, you use the AP Stats exam questions. So this is posted on the lecture calendar. You can access this. I'll send the lecture guide here for you guys. Now, I'm just gonna leave it for questions. I'm allocating 15 minutes for this, and then I'll finish the lecture. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll just end the lecture here. You guys can preferably ask about content, but if you guys want to ask about other things, go for it. Bye, kaboom. I hope I see you in the next lecture, the next review session. When's the next review? Tomorrow for Unit 3. I recommend you go to it because Unit 3 is a very important unit. But if you can't go to that, go to Unit 6 because significance tests take up more than half the test basically if you calculate it. They're very important. What's the time? Same time as today, 9:15 p.m. GMT, but 2:15 p.m. EST. Tomorrow's Easter though. Yeah, that's the problem. But I don't celebrate Easter, so there's way too many lectures in 2 days. Are these recorded, by the way? Yes. Unfortunately, this one got interrupted for some reason, so there might be a cut. I'm going to merge the two recordings, then upload it. So yeah, not enough time to go to all of them, unfortunately, sadly. Yeah, because it's the weekend, so we're going to schedule the most lectures in this time. Where will the recordings be? Also on the lecture calendar. However, I'll try to, yeah, it'll be on the lecture calendar. Check the announcements. Exactly, it'll be there. I'll upload it as soon as I can. I'll, right after the lecture, merge the two recordings. And I plan to send this actually to my AP Stats class as well, as extra review resources. Because, you know, it's always beneficial and stuff like that. So let me just switch the screen to just, you know, the Discord. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's my... Oh, that's for Unit 3. Yeah, you can see that. That's for Unit 3. You can take a gander at it if you want to. Spoilers, yeah. There's a lot in there. It's jam-packed. Is this your PPTX for tomorrow? Yup, it is. Unfortunately, I wanted to make it in the 5Hive format, but at that time when I was making the lecture guide, I made the lecture guide for Unit 3 first. So when I made it, I forgot to put it in the 5Hive format, but I made all of it, so it was already too late. So Do you guys have any questions in terms of content? Oh, by the way, I don't know why I forgot to put this, but don't forget to fill out the lecture feedback sheet. Let me send it real quick. Please, 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 please do it. Please. Hold on. Yeah, copy the link. Copy link. Let me just put it here for you guys. What's the 5 high format? The slides I just did. Please fill it out. Please fill the lecture feedback out. I'd really appreciate feedback on how I did, so I can, like, you know, cook also next lecture, hopefully. But would you guys say overall this was a good lecture? Like, did I cover? Were my explanations good? Was I clear? Yes. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. Yeah. There were some inactive people, but still, I hope they listened and, you know, learned a lot of things and just, you know, are more prepared now for the AP exam. Because Unit 1's pretty important unit. Someone's in the channel where the lecture stuff is. Define lecture stuff. You mean like the announcements? Or, like, where, like, lecture stuff is? Like the recordings? It's on the sheets. I'm gonna upload the recording a little late because I'm gonna need to, like, merge the two recordings, which is a little sad. But, you know, you live and learn. Do you guys have any more questions? Or can I close out the session? If you guys have any more questions, you can still ask. There's like 11 more minutes of allocated. Thanks. That's it? Guess so? I guess tomorrow same time. Okay. E4, I know you DM'd me earlier. Was the review? Oh wait, did you? Was the review good overall? Okay. Taking a while to send the messages. Thank you. Of course, no problem. Who's still in the lecture? Just Emerald. Nate, are you still there? Or are you just AFK now? Yeah, you'll just use the recording. No problem. It's still good stuff. Always is good stuff. So I think that's it. Yeah? What's up? What's your ethnicity? Arab. I'm from Jordan. I'm Arab. Middle Eastern. Believe it or not. What about you? What do you mean, oh? Because I sound American? Yeah. No, but trust me, I can speak Arabic. Wait, where are you from? Africa? Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Let me check general. I'm Asian. Oh, that's nice. That's fun. Where from Asia?
Joined.
Wait. Oops. I accidentally connected from my laptop. That's my bad. You can hear me, right? Alright, see ya. I guess that's it. Thank you guys for coming. Please come tomorrow if you can. It'll be a lot of fun. No problem. Was the lecture good, Kwan Sin? Oh, he left. Okay. Alright. Bye.